Shalom, it's Izzy, your Hebrew teacher here, and this is Hebrew Chapters with Holy Language Institute. This is the third of 4 readings through Psalm 119. Psalm 119 is the longest of the Psalms. It has a unique structure in that it is broken down into 22 sections, and each section has 8 lines that begin with the same letter. So the first 8 lines begin with the letter Aleph, the next 8 lines begin with the letter Bet, etc. In this third part, we are going to be reading the lines starting with the letter Kaf, and then going through the letters Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samech, and Ain. So we'll actually be going through 6 sections today. So let's pray, and we will get started reading through this chapter that has become famous as a passionate love song to God's Torah. Thank you, Elohim God, for this opportunity right now to read this outpouring of love for you, for your holy word, for your instructions, rules, teachings, testimonies, laws. Thank you for how you've expressed yourself to humanity, to your people Israel, to each of us. Thank you so much for the joy of reading this revelation in the original language in which it was inspired and penned. And I pray that just as these writings were inspired by your Ruach, your Spirit, I pray that you would inspire us by your Ruach, your Spirit, to study, to understand, and to remember, and also to see ways that this applies to our lives and to do it. Thank you for your help. Thank you for this joy. Amen. So here we have Psalm 119. We will be starting in verse 81 in this section with the letter Kaf. If you haven't learned how to read Hebrew with me, I would encourage you to learn how to read Hebrew with me in the 40 Lessons of Hebrew Quest at holylanguage.com. And either way, follow along. You will get a lot out of this. We're going to be reading through this, breaking down words and identifying their prefixes, suffixes, and especially their 3-letter verbal roots. And hopefully, this will be a very meaningful time. Kalta. Verbal root is kala, and it means to complete or finish. Let's keep reading and we'll see what is completed. Le tshuatcha. So for, there's the le, for tshuatcha, your teshua. What's the verbal root there? Yasha. The verbal root yasha essentially means to save. It can have the sense of deliverance. It can also have the sense of giving victory. For instance, a military victory. When you are caused to win. That is the bigger sense there. Now, if you are a believer in Yeshua of Nazareth as the Messiah, then this verbal root will be especially near and dear to your heart because it's the verbal root behind Yeshua's name. The verbal root is Yasha, and it's behind Yeshua. Here we have another form of it, Teshua. So anyway, here we have L'tshuatcha, for your salvation, Nafshi, my nefesh, which is my soul, my person, my life. So kalta, finished, L'tshuatcha, for your salvation, Nafshi is my soul. Now that doesn't make too much sense when you read it like that, because that's not how we use the word finished, but it has the sense of longing or yearning to the point of being just finished, over and done with. That's the idea there. Li devalcha, for your devar, your word. Yichalti, verbal root yachal, to wait for something, in the sense of hoping for it, expecting it. Kalu, same verbal root, kala, finished. Einai, your ain is your eye. Your einaim are your 2 eyes. Here we have einai, my eyes. So kalu einai, my eyes were finished, my eyes yearned. Le'imratecha, for your, the verb root there is amal, and it means to say something. You basically have two Hebrew verbal roots that are very closely related. You have deval, which means to speak and communicate something, and then you have amal, which means to say something. So here it says the imratech, having the sense of your utterance, something that you said. Lemor, to say. So there's that verb root again. Matai, when. Tenachameni, verb root is nacham, to comfort. Tenachameni, will you comfort me? Ki, when. Hayiti, I was or I became. Ke ne'od, like a ne'od. What is a ne'od? A wineskin. I'll explain something about this word to you here. The verbal root na'ad, spelled with an aleph, is related to the verbal root nadad, which means to separate. And that gives us a sense of what the functional, what the function of a wineskin was. It separated the wine from everything else outside of it. It separated the liquid from everything outside of it. And this gives us an insight into something that Yeshua said, actually, because he talked about wineskins, and he used wineskins as an analogy for his Talmidim, his disciples. He had a new breed of Talmidim. They were different than the Talmidim of the Prushim, the Pharisees, or the Talmidim of Yochanan HaMatbil, John the Immerser. They were separate from them in areas such as their fasting practices. In Matthew chapter 9, this is discussed, and Yeshua is actually asked about his disciples and why they act differently, why they are separate, so to speak. And in Hebrew, of course, the verb there could be nadad. Why are there nadad? Yeshua answers in Matthew 9:17, and he says, "Nor do people put new wine into old nodot," which is the plural of ne'od, old wineskins. Otherwise, the nodot, the wineskins burst, and the wine pours out, and the nodot, the wineskins are ruined. But they put new wine into fresh nodot, wineskins, and both are preserved. So here, you can see that Yeshua is using the analogy of the wineskin in a way that makes even more sense when you understand the Hebrew word for wineskin, ne'od, and then the verbal root behind it, nadad, which means to separate. So here he's saying, Ki ha'iti, when I became, kene'od, like a wineskin, b'kitol. The verb root there is katal, and it means to smoke, or often in the sense of incense, smoking. Here we have kitol as a noun, which is smoke. So like a wineskin in smoke. Thanks for watching this trailer. To get this whole talk in audio or video format, go to holylanguage.com and subscribe. I'll see you there.